everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, where this is ActionX's premiere show where we talk about all things in the world of television, which normally includes episode-by-episode review of currently airing shows, season-by-season reviews for shows that are currently on the air, or have already wrapped up, or these full-on season reviews. No spoilers needed, as recently we just wrapped an entire run of episode reviews. I know there's still a decent amount of the fan base who has somehow not seen a single episode of Season 2, and it's curious, is Season 2 worth it? Is it a worthy follow-up? And as well, will I try not to get spoiled now that the whole season is over? The answer is yes or no. I will do my best to avoid spoilers, but at the same time, anything in Episode 1 is already up for grabs, so you will be mildly spoiled, but only by Episode 1 standard. Everything else, I will keep... So, don't you dare worry about that. So if you're unaware, you will not be spoiled at all, so don't worry about it. So, anyway, with that being said, let's go. So, bare blind, quick impressions, somewhat. One sentence, is High School Musical, the musical of the series, Season 2, is it a worthy follow-up to Season 1? I feel like mostly yes. I do believe this is a worthy continuation of the story. I will say it lost direction a little bit a couple times. Now, I could just easily say, oh, COVID-19 affected it. Because that seems to be the answer for all the shows that have aired seasons in the last year. That, oh, COVID affected it, meaning that they have to change plans. Like, it cannot be used as an excuse anymore. I mean, I know that we've been living in this COVID-affected TV show line for now a good part of a year. Or a good year when some change. You can't really use that many times. Like, when Supernatural ended, I was very much aware, yeah, the finale was definitely a little bit changed over because COVID-19 prevented a few things. That I get. That I understood. Like, that made logistical sense. In High School Musical's case, there were certain points where it's like, this makes sense, but then also this doesn't make sense, and then I was just, like, baffled by it. I really was. And not to say the show had any major problems with it, I will say that there were some, weird choices I didn't like at the end of the day, and I do get some of the choices they made in the long run, but also, again, it's very hard to try and not talk about spoilers in terms of something that has aired already, so apologies here if I'm a little bit, like, trying a little tongue twist with my words, because I'm trying to be very careful not to spoil anything for anyone, so I will apologize to you there, but that's the straight line boiled down. Like, it is a worthy follow-up, but there are points throughout the entire season where you do question that some things don't really smooth well into like a well-kept pace like Season 1 did. I feel like Season 1 had a very solid direction. Season 2 still had a direction, and it was pretty good at time, but it had some deviations that, for me, that I didn't really gel with, or I didn't really was on board with. So, on to the actual, like, in-depth stuff. I feel Season 2 was definitely... They took a lot of the lessons they learned from Season 1, and they definitely continued that. And Season 2 felt like, in a way, much like the... this is kind of like... is hinted in the theme at the end of the last episode, that they've come so far in this journey, and that this journey is only just going to keep going. But even this season kind of just has a lot of reflections on how they look back on their Season 1, like, starter selves and going into Season 2. Where, even in Season 1, like, the premiere for Season 2 definitely continued that we are a family now. They've been through a lot in the first 4 months of this not East High life, that they're a family. They are. They survived an entire musical together. A lot has changed between all of them. And they're technically like, yeah, we're all like-minded people. They all love theater. We all like each other, so we're basically family. And if Vin Diesel / Dominic Toretto heard any of that, they'll be like, bet, join Fast 10, because The Rock quit us, because Vin Diesel doesn't know how to shut his mouth. Anyway, I really liked that. I really did, and I will respect that the first season definitely had a lot of High School Musical relations and connections. And for Season 2, I did understand that they started off with that, like, yeah, this is a High School Musical honored show, but this was the season where, like, we really started to, like, deviate from that. Like, okay, now we're going to start being our own thing. they definitely do call back on the High School Musical aspects a couple times throughout the season, but this is definitely like, well, okay, now that the fans have really embraced these characters and they know them, now they're going to start appreciating them for themselves and not because of the High School Musical tropes. Where for me, when I was reviewing season 1 in both in the episode review format and then the season review format, I definitely did acknowledge a lot of times, like, oh, this character's like this character, and this character's like this character. Like, this season, I am not making much of those comparisons because they are now doing their own thing. They are not following the status quo anymore, per to speak. Ricky is not Troy Bolton. EJ is not Chadwick Danford. Nini is not Gabriella. That sort of thing. Like, none of these characters are relating to each other anymore, as A, they're moving on to a whole new musical on a whole different side of the Disney spectrum, but as well as we're just at that point where it's like, we don't need those connections anymore. We don't. They've grown so much and we've loved them now as their own characters that, okay, now I just call Ricky, and this is what his correction is, and I don't have to mention anything about Troy or any other characters because that's not what they're basing it off anymore. I'm pretty sure if we do go into a third season, we will get some more High School Musical references because you really can't deviate that too much because the show is literally called High School Musical, the series, so you really can't go that far off it. But that's the thing to point out here is that they're just doing their own thing by this point, and I really respect it. I really love it. And there's just the right amount of like, we're acknowledging where we came from, but we're going to do our own thing. The only downside to that is that the whole direction of the season 1 was that we knew how the story was going to go. I definitely was surprised by a lot of the twists that we saw throughout it. But then we got to season 2 and I just got really thrown off track here because most of the time, actually that's considered a spoiler. I won't say that. But I will say that season, there was moments where it's like, there was a direction. I think this was where the story was going, and then stuff happened. I'm predicting, like, okay, this is when COVID affected it, and then they got back to it, but then they had to rectify things because, like, okay, they don't have these many people anymore, but then this scene contradicts it, and, like it's a lot. It's confusing. It's a lot. I don't get it. But that was me in terms of the story. And the whole premise of, they've mentioned this in the first episode, like, the whole Minky's premise, I found it to be interesting. I thought it would have been really cool. I'm gonna hold full results and feelings on it until whenever potentially season 3 ends. So whenever that's gonna be, who knows? I'll save my full results for that because I really don't want to spoil anything for that. How that storyline panned out, but I will say that it definitely did not turn the way I expected it to be. I understand where they were going with that, but for me, it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you made the right call here. I don't know. So, but onto the characters this season. We're just going to focus on our core characters. Everything else, if I do forget, I apologize, but there's only just so much I can go to. Ricky this season is in that difficult point. I mentioned this in the season 1 review and then the season 2 predictions that I initially hated Ricky, and then I immediately understood Ricky where he was going to. As if you all remember, Ricky went through a lot in the first season. Like, the first half of the season, I hated him. I thought he was a douchebag. I thought he's going to lose. I do not support him at all. Then when we got to the second half, I was like, okay, now I understand this character. Now I have a sort of a peg of relation to him because of the factor of his parents divorcing and as well as him dealing with so many changes in life. Trust me, I've been through that. And so in season 2, we got to continue that storyline. And this season really got to test him because he dealt with mostly of a new factor in his life, dealing with all that trauma. Because, like, by the time he figured it out at the tail end of season 1, there really wasn't time to kind of figure that out. There really wasn't. It was mostly, once he found that out, it was literally going into musical, then Nini. So there was really barely any time to actually tackle those issues on. And then I will say season 2 definitely did tackle them on the best they could. And I think there's more to grow here with Ricky, and I can't wait to see where he goes more than that. But in the long run, I think Ricky has an idea of who he want to be as a person in the future, but he definitely he's still going through that trial and judgment of, like, trying to figure out where he's going to end up at the end and what more on his journey he's going to have to go through as his life continues. Nini, on the other hand, Nini definitely knows where she's going, and I wish this was a spoiler review because I want to talk about more in depth, but Nini had a very interesting direction this season where I feel like she went all over the place. Like, I know where the end goal is, but it's just so weird that they went this direction, and they went that direction, and then they went to this direction. Because by the end of episode 1, we all knew going into season 2 that she has that offer to go to a prestigious musician program, and this was like a very, very hard to get into program, and she got in at the heels of getting back together with Ricky. So now she's like, she loves Ricky, she does care about him, but at the same time, like, she loves actually performing and writing songs. So how do you balance both of them out without dealing with that? I will say episode 1 of the season deals with just her accepting the fact that she's gonna go. She wants to go. She's gonna go. But how does she deal with leaving Ricky behind as on the heels of just finally getting back together? How do we get through that point? She goes all over the place in season 2, and for mostly good ways, and also a couple bad ways that I wasn't really a big fan of this season. It could have been again another factor of COVID changes, that the storyline got changed because they couldn't do certain things anymore. But I still enjoyed it. I'm very interested in how they're going to tackle her character on, since, if you're unaware, somehow Olivia Rodrigo literally blew the hell up in the last few months when the show was airing. Like, dozens of new, hit songs. Her popularity is increasing. She literally got to meet the president and got to go to the White House. Like, she's going up and up in life. So I really don't know how they're going to continue her in the next season, but if she does come back. But I will say that she definitely still is the star of the show. Her story is definitely one that we're still following to a T, and I really hope this was just another leg in her journey. This was another leg in her journey, and hopefully we'll get to see more of that down the line. But I'll see more of that. If you remember anything about AJ last season, yeah, you all heard me criticize him a lot mostly in the second half of season 1. There wasn't really much for him to do after he broke up with Nene, and he was just basically wallowing around East High, knowing he's gonna play Chad, and just like all the play connection. That was literally all he was doing. Going into season 2, I was really hoping, can we get a real storyline with him? Can we just really get somewhere with him that isn't just a one-off or just anything like that? Can we just get some real content going here for him? At the start, it's more of like the same, like he's just there. And he literally is just there. But I will say, stick around for AJ. Stick around, because they give him something really interesting to do that I really respect. And they give him something that, like, okay, I was kind of low-key expecting at some point to do, but I was like not expecting it to go in that direction. But I will say, finally, they did give him something to do, and just not have him be eye candy, and just him having to just stick around the cast for another year before he graduates. So I'm really happy about that. For Gina, I feel like out of all the characters that has grown a lot this season, Gina definitely did. I think Gina went through the hardest emotional journey throughout this season. That's what I believe. She overcomes so much in this season that her journey in season 1 is like just the tip of the iceberg. Where in that season, she went from being the Sharpay of the show to then just being just someone who wasn't Sharpay. That was my assumption. Like, I thought she was going to be the Sharpay of this show. Then going at the end of season 1, it's like, okay, there's way more to her as a character. She's more like, she thematically fits Gabriella, but she's not Gabriella, because we all think Nene's Gabriella, but she's not. She's something different. And then season 2, they definitely break away those High School Musical chain. Like, no, she is her own thing. She's had a very emotional time as she's now progressing through this new chapter of high school, and she's really struggling to figure out what is her rightful place here among this family post the first musical. And she was really like, if Nene was the star, she's going to be the breakout. She definitely rose up the ranks a lot this season, and I was really happy for that. I really was. And yeah, I think that was it. I think there's all like, there's a lot of other characters too. I mean, I could mention it all, but I don't really think they had, like, I'll briefly mention, because like I got to be fair here. Miss Jen, I will say that her character definitely did improve a lot. She definitely is starting to grow more into, like, she's an actual teacher. She's an actual mentor, as she's really trying to make a good example for her kids, even in this very much of a personal vendetta for the whole reason entering the Menkeys. And also, I'm really surprised, like, they did so much with her. Like, I mean, everyone knows, like, she now has 3 people, like, in a romantic square. Well, not really square, because one of them really doesn't like her, but yeah, you're close enough. Courtney definitely. Courtney really like Courtney got out of her shell at the end of last season, and she really stood out more this season. She had her own storyline, she had her own character, she had her own things to deal with, and I was very happy for her. Like she didn't have so much drama per se throughout the season. She definitely did, she get involved in her own sort of things, but they definitely stood her out this season. As in the first season, she was really tied to Nene. She was just Nene's wing woman. This season, she definitely became her own woman, and she definitely shined on her own, which was great. I loved it. Ashley coming into her own this season. This was definitely another one of those. Like she broke out this season so hard because they put so much emphasis on her character, on just herself, and just everything for this specific musical. And then obviously her relationship with Big Red took a big step this season, with just these two, like, who have never been in a romantic relationship before, just accepting the fact that, hey, this person likes me and I can finally explore certain things with this person, but what does that really mean after just hearing stories about it for all so damn long? Carlos and Seb had some generic, general couple problems, but they were very cute together, and they very much stood out, and they were both supporting each other. Seb continuing his somehow amazing talent of being what was it? Dancing or acting. It was both. Or well, oh no, he was a great actor. Carlos was the dancer, and Carlos. Oh man, I love Carlos so much. He's just really funny. There's even a point in the second episode that I want to mention, but I have my own rules. I can't mention it, but it was a really fun moment, and it was just like, oh, I love this character so much. I really do. Is there anyone else I'm forgetting from the main cast? I really don't want to forget anyone, but I could just turn around. Oh no, that was the wrong damn poster. That really was. No. I think I got everyone. I think I did. Yeah, I did. I'm good. I'm good to go. Anyway, so, and of course, obviously, it's a High School Musical show, so it's like I got to talk about the music. And oh my god, the music for this season, both in the original format and also their interpretation of classics from Beauty and the Beast and briefly from HSM 2. God, amazing. I mean, I loved all of it. Also, I thought for a second we're going to have a thunderstorm. I'm just thinking, oh man, I don't need another thunderstorm right now. Not in my life. But anyway. I think we are going to have a thunderstorm, damn. But anyway. I loved all the music from it. Their renditions of HSM 2 in the first episode, as well as the Something in the Air from which I immediately thought that this was just an original thing. It wasn't part of season 2 properly. It was just a fun, hey, here's what the cast did while we were on COVID, and I was like, oh my, this was actually part of the show, and I was just, man, I'm greatly embarrassed now. But anyway, all the music was awesome. All the I was really hoping for more dancing in this season, but we didn't get too much of it in terms of just the originality. I really wish we did, but we didn't. But that's just between you and I. And I believe, I think that's it. Overall, I think season 2 did a lot of better things than season 1, but it just was a little bit hindered by its potential because of just certain character and story choices. That's my honest take on it. I really do. I still loved it at the end of the day. Like, I think overall it's a worthy continuation. It just has a good amount of, things that I would have done differently, and maybe hopefully we'll have a bigger payoff once we get to the hypothetical season 3. But at least judging it on its own, like, this felt more like a middle of the road type story, but still having some great culmination moments and story continuation for a lot of these characters. But they were definitely saving a lot of the bigger payoffs for season 3. So that is my say on the matter. So for me, I would recommend it. I really would. I would recommend following this up after you finish season 1 of High School Musical, the musical, the series. So go check that out. So I think that's going to do it for me. So you can catch all the episodes of High School Musical, the series, season 2 on Disney Plus right now. All 12 episodes available for streaming. So if you're doing a binge, go do that. It's all on there. And for an extra bonus, you can hear me talk about all the spoilers for the show on our episode reviews. We've done all 12 of them. So stay tuned and let me know in the comments below for this season. Like, how did you think of this season in a non-spoiler way? Let me know in the comments below. So hopefully I've enticed you to go watch it. Or maybe not watch it. Who knows? Who really knows? But anyway, I think that's going to do it for me tonight, everyone. I'm feeling a little under the weather. I don't know why. Got a little bit of the sniffles. And also, onions make me cry at work today. So I'm like, my body's a little bit overreactive. Also, it's hot in here. But anyway, if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode of the second season of High School Musical, the music of the series, including this special non-spoiler review. If you want to know what we're doing overall, What's the Two, besides our HSM review, we are doing Walker episode reviews each and every Friday mornings after a brand new episode, on Thursday nights on the CW, or free the next day on the CW app. I believe we are back next week for the season finale, the big season 1 ender. Can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to die that night because it's going to be a long night and a long morning the next, but I'm willing to do it. But guess what? It's the end of the story for now, and we have a lot planned out for that, so stay tuned for the finale of that. Also, next week, we're starting our DC Stargirl Season 2 episode review, starting this Wednesday on ActionX, after a brand new episode on Tuesday nights on the CW. So stay tuned for that. And then the week after that, we're going to start our Heels episode reviews each and every Monday mornings after a brand new episode on Sunday nights on Stars. That's going to get some getting used to on that, and I was very overhyped on that, so... But if you only care about High School Musical, you are in luck. We will be back next week for, sadly, the last time for hopefully a long time, when we talk about our season 3 predictions. That will be next week. My only thing about that is that I am going to hold off on it. I was going to actually plan on doing it right now after I finish this one, but I'm going to wait a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a season 3 renewal at some point in the next few days. I have to record this ahead of time because there's a lot happening in What's the Two of next week. There really is. We got the Stargirl premiere coming out. We're also doing a Titan Season 3 First Impressions, because that also starts up next week. So we'll be doing a review of sorts for the first 3 episodes. Well, 3 episodes. Stay tuned to that. The Walker season finale review, and then the Season 3 predictions video here for HSM TMTS. So I'm very busy next week, which is what I've been waiting for. This was my last lazy week on What's in the Two. Now, when I mean lazy, I mean like not killing myself doing multiple reviews at once. I was enjoying this little siesta of a break, but next week I'm back at it. So, but I can't wait to do it. I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. It's great. So, again, with that being said, you've been watching What's in the Two from ActionX. Please subscribe to ActionX on youtube.com/ActionXvideo. Please like, favorite, share this review if you have not as of now. It helps us get us out there to other members of the Wildcat family who has yet to discover us here on the YouTubes. It helps us beat up that YouTube algorithm that hates me ever so much in life, as well as sharing is always for free here on the internet. Ring that bell for a notification when our next HSM review is live, which is normally each and every Saturday mornings. As well as follow us on social media, which is including our brand new Instagram page, which is still a little bit rough on, so give me a pass there, everyone. I'm pretty busy. But again, for all you members of the Wildcats family, thank you so much for watching this Season 2 review. Hopefully you get to enjoy Season 2, or you already have to enjoy Season 2. I can't wait for you to see me next week as we talk about all things, hopefully, to see in the 3rd season of HSM TMTS. But until then, stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.